I was interviewing somebody today, and it hurt my heart listening to his background. So he got in this story about his mama and how she hit him or kicked him every time that she thought he was doing something wrong. It wasn't just that she just hit him for the heck of it, it's because he didn't do certain things right, like exactly the way that she wanted it. And so he grew up being a perfectionist, even, not being able to see stuff that if it wasn't better than somebody else that he was looking at, that he wouldn't release it. And he'd get stuck in that frozen, and it hurt my heart. And, these past years, I've been reconciling things in my past and taking the ownership of that. And I know that I don't remember things exactly the way they were, but when I was a kid, I remember the way I remember it. And I'm living in that story, and that's what I want to break through. And if I keep doing that, I feel like the way I feel now, relative to how I felt like 10 years ago, I feel more freedom in my body. I feel safer when I walk into rooms instead of being judged. When I was doing my interviews, I interviewed another person that was talking about an eating disorder and how she almost died from her eating disorder, not from being too skinny, which she probably was, but more about that her parents wanted her to look a certain way, wear certain clothes, perform a certain way, and for her to figure out how she needs to get out of that perfectionism, because it was put upon her that her body needed to look a certain way. Being in this atmosphere and talking about all these wonderful things, they really are wonderful because we get to make those choices. And I know that sometimes we say that people can't make those changes, but you got to be balls out and just do it. Because the more that you can step into looking at you, having the empathy of what you went through, and not blame it on anybody. Let's just get them out of the picture. Let's talk about what we are trying to clear here so that we can have a spectacular life. I don't want to be going towards 80 years old and yelling and flipping out because that's what I was raised around. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to heal from generational stuff. I want to be able to hear myself when somebody says something. I can make a good decision because I can feel it and how it makes me feel. Or if I can't feel it and I'm not ready to make that decision, instead of jumping into something that I really don't understand if it's a yes or no. How do you feel about this in your journey? Are you stepping into trying to have the best life that you can have and figure out how to cleanse and use your tools, or maybe you have a coach that helps you with that, so that we can together, I call it hashtag speaker locking arms, is go out there and adventure into the areas that we know that there needs to be some changes. So how are you doing on your journey? Are you ready to make a change out there in the world? Have you been running business for a while and really discovering who you are so that you can help others at a higher level? I'm so interested in this conversation because the people that don't do this type of work, they just think is this hogwash that people don't really make changes, that we can't really, change in our life. And I don't want to live like that anymore. It feels so lonely and painful. And I can remember when I was a kid, I knew I was supposed to be doing something else, whatever that was. And I know whatever I'm doing now is what I was trying to figure out. I felt lonely. I felt misplaced. I never felt like I was put in a place where I felt very comfortable. And it showed up. I ended up having hypothyroidism, and I have been off of medicine for 8 years, and it's been a big challenge. And there's people in my life that are saying, get back on medicine, go to the doctor. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. Well, why not? Because there's these signs, that you need to go back. And it's like, because when I was taking medicine, I was a whole different person. Now I know the pure me. I know when my nervous system is off, and I know when I start swelling that I'm eating the foods that I shouldn't be eating. And if I took medicine, it would keep my body very slim because I work out all the time, but I wouldn't know my true journey. How do you feel about that? Are you on your true journey? And what does that mean for you? For me, it's about being able to know what my body's going through, clearing these things that happened to me when I was younger, because that created a space for me to be on medicine because I couldn't rest. I was barely sleeping. I worked out all the time because the way to manage my stress. Tell me what you think about this. This is hashtag speaker locking arms, us coming together and starting to rehabilitate ourselves. And this is not being dramatic. This is truly, if you want to be doing, nailing it out there every day, that you really want to have people around you that support you. I have somebody in my life right now. All they see is what they see in judgment toward me and who I am and who I was in the past, and believing that I'm still that person in the past. And sometimes I just get so tired of re-explaining to them, look at who the person is right now in front of you, not what it was a year ago, not what it was a month ago. I want to be moving forward, and I want to consistently move forward, and I want you to call me out on things that I am doing, like, quote unquote, wrong, so we can start having those conversations. And that means it might look like we're starting a fight, but it's like, here, wait, I'm doing that, like whatever you want to fight about, let's talk about that. So it takes the energy in a way that you get to learn more about yourself. You get to be able to speak your vocals more and be able to kind of work the stuff that maybe you didn't have confrontation on, that it helps you become a very lovely being, even deeper, because you don't feel like you're hiding anything. Now that's powerful. What do you think about that? Hashtag speaker locking arms. Hashtag superstar speakers. Get out there, speak your stories, but be very pure and stop running away from the true story, because maybe somebody's still living that you're telling that story about, but everybody has to come with truth and what they're struggling with. I appreciate you so much.